Hello everybody and welcome back to Topher Parker, which is now the official #1 YouTube channel for Generation 1 Freelander content. I'm amazed and yet also not too surprised that this car has gotten me the most views out of either of my other cars, but to be honest, you never see these things around. Nobody thinks to make content about them because they're all dead at this point. So it kind of makes sense, but I'm amazed. My first Freelander video where I'm just complaining about the process of fixing it has 3,000 views, even though it's a terrible video. My road trip video is also at 3,000. I'm really amazed at the amount of reception it's gotten, if that's the right word. But you know what they say about second chances. Everyone deserves a second chance, but this car already got its second chance last year. I bought this in April of 2020, the most responsible pandemic purchase you can make. And we got it fixed and running in January of this year. As I'm filming today, it's the 27th of December. Just 3,000 miles later, it's got another head gasket leak. We're thinking we probably should have milled the heads because we didn't do that. Does it deserve a third chance? I think so. I want to see this car back on the road again so I can drive it, take it on another fun road trip. I don't want to see it die while I own it. Also, if I sell it for scrap value, I'm not going to make any money on it anyways, so. This head gasket replacement is a process that is quite different to a traditional head gasket replacement on a Discovery. It's a lot more difficult because this engine is a lot more complicated and we're not really looking forward to doing it. But nevertheless, we're going to pop the hood and get working. Except the hood release is on the passenger side. Let me just grab that. Ooh, yes, my favorite engine. Now, while we have the hood open and the engine hasn't been disassembled yet, let me explain to you why I firmly believe this is probably the worst engine fitted to a modern vehicle. First of all, being a 2.5-liter V6, 174 horsepower isn't impressive by any means, even by 2004 standards. Secondly, not only is it ridiculously unreliable, considering the head gaskets are made out of chocolate, it's also extremely complicated, what with having 3 timing belts, and everything is so packed in this little engine bay that you'll see later in the video, we have to remove this bumper just to get to the exhaust manifold. The wheel has to come off to get to the timing belt. It's just a complete mess. And the V6 was the only engine you could get a Freelander with in the North American market. I get why, because it's, you know, it's American. Americans don't generally tend to like 4-cylinder diesels, but this car, it's a Freelander. Freelanders aren't about making big power. That's not the point. Nobody buys a Freelander and LS swaps it because they want 400 horsepower out of it. So if you're in Europe and you're looking for a Freelander, go for the 4-cylinder diesel because it's the one with the least amount of fatal flaws. On a positive note, this engine does run totally fine on oil that's mixed with antifreeze, which is like a yellowy, mustardy like goo that smells like a mixture of diarrhea and burnt oil. So it does have its upsides, but mostly I think this engine absolutely sucks. It also gets 15 miles per gallon. I forgot to mention that, which is only 2 miles per gallon better than my dad's V8 Range Rover with an engine nearly twice the size. And do you guys remember, it seems like ages ago, but I took this on a camping road trip and I said this when I got back. It's just been really, really impressive this weekend. Is it the most unreliable SUV in the world like I had previously thought? I'm not really sure. We'll have to see, but yeah, it definitely is. Well, that was a lot of bickering on my part, but it's kind of my fault. What should I have expected from buying a $950 Freelander and then not milling the cylinder heads when we did the head gasket replacement? So by the power of YouTube and iMovie editing, we're going to change clothes. That was a terrible transition, wasn't it? I've got my dirty clothes and some jelly beans, and I'm ready to roll. Let's do it! He told me to hold it still, so does this just go on top of the car? The 3 characters you don't want to find underneath your engine bay. KV6. All right. Ooh. Look at that, everybody. That's a sign of things to come. That's what this car's running on. Milk. Pure milk. The glorious. Oh! Greatest engine to ever be fitted to a production car, if it was the only engine to ever be fitted to a production car. This brings back memories. Painful memories. You think I can get this with just man strength? Oh. He's got technology. Wheel coming off. Big, strong man. Look at me. Ugh. This car is an absolute mess. Look at this. This is step 1.
Step 2, done.
So the next step is getting all the horrible, disgusting, tempted to call it oil, but it really isn't anymore, out of it. I got the extra man strength, so we don't need to worry about the 1/2-inch drive. This is an oil pan. Oil drain plug. Why is it so tight? All right, switching back to the 1/2-inch. That's actually not as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting that to be golden poo brown and disgusting. It even smells like oil. That's weird. He's a busy man. He's got things to do. He's got phone calls to make while he works on my piece of garbage Freelander. Very smart.
Part of the problem is just
Ooh.
the car.
Don't say that. The British people will hear you. I'm going to get angry comments now because of what you just said about their beloved engine. Welcome to working on a Land Rover Freelander. This week, we removed the spark plugs for the 80th time since I bought this car. This car is plotting something. This is way too easy. Full mechanic mode engaged. All right, cylinder number 4. Spark plug, yes or no? That feels good. Yes! Yeah, that's supposed to be absolutely covered in oil. The memories, they're all coming back. And why do you have to be so tight? One. How many are there? 27. That took me like 3 seconds of despair before I realized you were joking. 3. Ow. That really hurt. Just jammed my finger into the sharpest object in the entire car somehow. The cover is off so you can see the whole timing belt. Off comes the timing belt. Okay, next comes off the inlet manifold chamber. Of course it's 10mm. I already knew that.
See if it's disconnected. Oh yeah.
Woo. Look at that. Progress made.
Yes, that is 7. No wonder that company's out of business.
Don't say that. British people will hear you. I'll get a riot in my comment section. Here.
Together.
Here's the other one.
Dripping.
It has major potential. Alright, let's see. It's not that bad. That's not nearly as bad as last time. I mean, compared to last time. So you can see there's definitely a bit of caramel milkshake. Bet it doesn't taste like it though. All right, second mouth cover. And there you go. There's some milk up in there, and there's more milk right there.
That one's loose.
Most of them now. Whoa. Ah! All right, so that's what other kind of heads are there. Well, we've reached that point of the video. This is the end of part 1. We've got cylinder heads removed, and what comes now is putting everything back together with new parts and getting on the road, but it's a little complicated because there's a bit of bad news, but I thought I'd give this news in a more light-hearted manner, so I wrote a poem, actually. It took some time, but we are now halfway. So we took the cylinder heads to get milled one day. Instead of finishing, it was good news we now lacked. As they told us, the cylinder heads are actually cracked. It's sad to hear, since this job really sucked, especially now that we know the engine is So yes, we now know why it only lasted 3,000 miles since the last time we did this repair. The cylinder heads have small but effective cracks in them, so we need to get new cylinder heads, which on something like a Honda Odyssey isn't a big deal, but on a Rover K-Series V6, it's a little bit complicated on this side of the world. So it's gonna be a while until we get this car back on the road. But I promise it will be back on the road someday. It's a little disappointing because we actually only got to this halfway point in 2.5 days, which was a lot less time than the last time we did it. And it was a lot less difficult, I think, considering because we were already expecting it to be nearly impossible and extremely frustrating. So it wasn't as surprising this time. But there will be another update on this car. You just have to be patient on it. It's going to be a while. So thanks everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching us tear this car apart, and it will be back, I promise. So make sure you stay subscribed so you can be ready when this car officially hits the road. Thank you for watching.